Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope you've been properly readied, prepared, and caught up because myself and Cjack are going to wrap up. We're getting toward the end of what's been a phenomenal series. We are on episode 7 and 8 of The Last of Us. And as I said, I'm not alone. My name's Mega Ran, teacher, rapper, hero. And with me to my left at this current moment is Cjack, live from a secret location. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I want to, speaking of locations, I want to give out to the Evo Club Cyber Cafe here in Las Vegas. My boy Lance is letting me borrow his facilities for free until my upgrades show up for the channel.
Nice. It's good to have friends. That's what's up.
Yeah, seriously.
So speaking of friends, we actually get into a really good episode here, man. I just want to jump right into it because another one of my favorites. It seems like I say this every time we do this. It's like, oh, best episode. Not best episode favorite, but yeah, this was, man. You get the feels in like so many episodes in this thing.
Hey, care bear stare.
And oh man. So this one here is called Left Behind. And when we last left our heroes, old Joel had suffered a bit of a setback by way of a broken off bat in his gut, and he was not doing well. So we're at this point where Ellie's like trying her best to save him, and it looks like it'll all come together. But now I understand the title of Left Behind and things like that. But she gets to a moment, and like last thing I remember is her touching that door. Like she touches the doorknob, like, and then we get a flashback. We get like a major flashback moment. And so we go back into a simpler time, I guess, for
this series.
For this series, for sure. We got like, this is our first look at really like what's happening in the quarantine zone for kids. You know what that looks like for children. So I think they're in a gym, they're running laps. There's some music going, and everything's fine until, you know, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. And then next thing you know,
ball in the hood.
Yeah, a couple of girls there was up to no good. Started making trouble in the neighborhood. But Ellie didn't just get spun around. She actually like swung, you know, she handled her business and you know, clocked the girl. Turns out girl's getting stitches, some things are going wrong with her, but this is, I think, a moment for me anyway. This is where you start learning like, yo, this is a tough girl. Like early on, Ellie's been forged, you know, in this world. And a lot of it early on, we felt like she was so innocent. She didn't know this, she didn't know that, you know. And then as the story goes on, I think purposely we learn like this ain't no ordinary girl. Like,
no,
she's seen some things, she's done some things, and she gonna be all right. So
she a beast. She knows how to handle herself. People underestimate on a regular basis. I concur.
Basically, she's a beast. So yeah, then we resume, or we get to, I'll fast forward a bit, but we get basically the best night of Ellie's life. And this comes in the form of her, I guess what she's her current roommate, or maybe former roommate, because she thought she was gone or something.
I want to say former because she'd been gone for a minute, enough to where the girl that she socked in the face was talking mess about her, and she didn't like that too well. Like, you're gonna end up missing just like your girl, you know?
Yeah. Okay, that's what it is. So yeah, they thought she was just gone. Next thing you know, Riley comes in and she's like, what's been going on? Don't worry about all that. Come with me. Let's go see what's up. I think, does she tell her about the fireflies before they head out?
Yeah, she did tell before. That's true. Yes, I remember now. She told her, she was a firefly, and then later, that's when they had a difference of opinion. I'm gonna let you got it.
Yes. Okay. So she's like, look, don't worry about it, you know. And I like that Ellie's like, I wouldn't say not like brainwashed, but just realistic about what's happening. She's trying to be very realistic with her, like, yo, this stuff isn't what you think it is. Like, you don't even understand what you're fighting for. Why are you doing this and that?
Hmm.
And just trying to get her as a friend to understand, like, yo, this ain't really where you want to be. And
Hmm.
even I thought at that point that maybe they were gonna like, I guess, disagree to the point where maybe they wouldn't want to she wouldn't want to go with her, maybe, because it's like, oh, you
Right.
trying to send me to a recruitment meeting? Like, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, okay. She about
Like
to try to recruit.
textbook. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yet she still decides to roll, which I thought was cool. So this man, I don't know if she could find her way back through this place if she tried. Like the cuts, the ups, the downs, the cross,
Hmm.
uh like, man, it was just a lot of moving around until they get to the mother load, which is see
The
Jack.
huge, the entire huge buff. To me, the Ferris wheel was awesome. But then, let me know if I'm ahead of myself here. And then they get to the Mortal Kombat. Now we find out the Mortal Kombat machine. That was a,
Well,
that
wait.
was,
First, I
yeah.
gotta mention where they were. So when she turns on the light, she
Oh, the
realizes
mall. I'm sorry, man.
she's in the
Yeah.
mall. All right, now
My bad. My
now we
bad.
set the scene. So we're in the mall. What is
Mhm.
going on? What are you doing here? How did you get this to work? You got lights working. You got video games working. You got the Ferris wheel working. What is happening right now? Or the merry-go-round? So it's really like it's just me and you in this entire mall. This is
Mhm.
amazing. So as you said, we
Yeah.
get to Mortal Kombat, which is interesting for a lot of reasons. But
Mhm.
what was interesting there for you?
Because they made the reference back like episode 3, or was it 3 or 2, or in the beginning of our journey doing this project. Well, which and she was playing Elena and whatnot, and she knew the special moves, and now we have an idea. It was sooner than you think. When you think of her past, you think of at least a decade for her. No, if you really think about it, this is pretty recent. We're talking like, by my calculations, under like give or take 2 years, maybe even 6 months.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, this
yeah.
seems pretty recent for her, and
Hmm.
so that's why the memory is there. Which, because if you remember, her recollection of it is very vivid. Oh yeah, there's this
Hmm.
girl named Melina, and she rips her head off, and she turns you into a bag of bones. Like a very specific memory. Which I played a lot of Mortal Kombat, and I wouldn't have necessarily remembered that unless it had recently happened. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I
So
concur.
yeah, so it definitely felt like, all right, she was pulling a fresh memory. It turns out she was like, they don't talk about when this happened, but I'm guessing
Mhm.
it was pretty recently up until when we joined the story, right?
I agree.
Okay, that's what I think. All right, so now they're having fun, everything's all good until it ain't. Um,
It gets real.
it's kind of, I think it's kind of expected in this show. This was way too much happiness, too much sunshine and rainbows.
What this series does, to interrupt real quick, it gets you, I'm gonna paint this picture, and then all of a sudden, bam, they hit you with a paint splatter on top of the canvas out of nowhere. And they're really good about that. They'll set it up for up to 30 seconds. Sometimes it's 30 seconds. Then sometimes it's up to 30 minutes, and then bam, you get the punch.
For real.
Yeah.
And you get the gut punch here. It
Hmm.
in the form of, we have, of course, they're not alone. There's some folks in there and some things happening. I think they get into the argument before that, right?
They get in the argument right there at the arcade. First of all, I love how she put her through each of the 4 wonders of the world right there. Just
Yeah.
what was messed up, she set her up. Like, she knows she has some BS news to tell her.
Hmm?
And so she's trying to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, I know this is gonna be bad news, but just hear me out. This is the
Yeah.
idea, that kind of stuff. But to
You
answer
gotta
your
give
question,
me
no.
good
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
But good stuff, right.
So yeah, we get one thing that I noticed is she gets a gift. Ellie gets a gift, and it is a gift that it keeps on giving actually through this series. It is the pun book. Did you remember that? The No Pun
Yes.
Intended Volume 2, which
Ooh, she had one. Now there
she
was a
already had
two.
one, and she was like, "Oh
Right.
man, there's a 2. Oh my god, you got this." So it gives us a lot of background of all the jokes, the dad jokes in previous
Mhm.
episodes, things like that. they just did a really good job of tying so many things together. Like,
They did. Yeah.
so good. All right. So then good news, bad news. Yo, I'm out. They're sending me on a post. I think it was Atlanta. Sending me to Atlanta. I gotta deal with this. Sorry. But yo, uh I wanted to see if you could come, but like actually you can't. So to kind of make it worse, it's like, yeah, you can't go. This is actually the
Yeah.
goodbye.
And
Like,
and there's a twist in that. Ellie thought she was using her to get her to she's gonna she saw she saw the explosives, the TNT that was in the mall. Like, I should have known better. There's no way you could have set all this up by yourself. And it's
yeah,
true. It was a Firefly outpost. And that pissed her off, that because she brought her there just to take action while the Fireflies do whatever they do to the base camp. That
yeah,
was technically correct, but what she really brought her there before is like, I'm going to Atlanta. I thought I would just say goodbye to you and whatever. And what, real quick before we get ahead of ourselves, did you think there was going to be some chemistry eventually, or were they just holding back too much? They don't know what they want.
Oh, I thought, no doubt. I thought chemistry. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is clear. I mean, I guess
Mm-hmm.
it's two ways to look at it though, because like Ellie's like wonderment the entire episode
Yeah.
is like, it's legit because she's in a
Yeah.
mall. Like, if you're a teenager in a mall by yourself, this is pretty dope. So
Right.
the look in her eye, the starry, look could have been for that. Just being like, yo, Riley is like the dopest, coolest person to be able to do this.
Right.
But also, I saw the way she was looking at her, kind of early on. I felt like there was some vibes. There was some vibes. And so then they get the Walkman hooked up. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but whatever, small thing. So the Walkman somehow, cassette Walkman, is able to connect.
That's why I'm laughing. We're 80s babies, folks. We know this is BS, but continue.
No,
Go.
there ain't no aux cable. This was ain't no aux.
Oh
Ain't no
my
aux
god.
I'm sorry, ain't no aux on Walkman. So I was like, wait, are we hearing what? How's this music loud when it was in a personal stereo system?
But I'll bite. Right.
Whatever, you got things to do. They could have just found a cassette somewhere. I don't know. They could have popped the cassette in instead of doing the whole speaker thing. That was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's some way in the near future or in their present.
The timeline.
There was a hack. People start hacking Walkmans to do those things. I don't know. That was weird. But anyway, they play Etta James, I Got You, Babe. It's a really touching moment. We'll figure this thing out. That's basically kind of how that ends. And then dun dun dun. Is infected. We're not alone.
Calamity strikes.
This is when it goes wild. So, Cjack, at this point, are you thinking like, again, to me anyway, are you thinking like, all right, this is where she dies? Because clearly Riley don't make it. There's no other mention of her in the other episodes. Clearly, Riley's gonna bite it. So how is that? Are you thinking that this whole time?
Yeah, because it's just like the game. But then again, we talked about this, I think, in part 2 of this, 4 and 5, where whatever. The point is, we talked about this where they could possibly change from what we know. I got this is the limit that I got in the game after the bites and whatnot. So yeah, exactly. So I don't know what to expect at this point.
Yeah, we really have no idea.
No.
But yes, it goes down. And I mean, to me, I know, because I'm like, all right, I feel like there would have been some mention of Riley somewhere else. So this is probably going to be like a one-off, one and done. Somebody got to go. They're fighting. It's all going down. Ellie, again, is a gangster. Stabs homeboy in the head. Like, she gets down. She gets down first. It's unfortunately though, Riley was bitten. So was Ellie. And at this time, Ellie doesn't know, right? Like, she doesn't, or is she playing along? Like, what's the
No. She doesn't know, but my thing was, but first of all, we know she makes it through this. But in
Right.
the moment, you're caught in the moment. And she was like, well, we can do this one of two ways. Let's go ahead and do it. And Ellie was down to do it too. She's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna tough it out, become a wallflower, literally, because that's what the one that bit her. The ones that stake there, by the way. I think this
Yeah.
is trippy how that works. But anyway, and then think about this. If Ellie decided to follow that lead, she would have never found out about her immune system or immunity to it. It's
That's
crazy.
true. Yeah, they would have never found out. So I feel like maybe at some point we'll get into how what's the girl's name? Marlene,
Marlene.
the one who sent her on the mission, like how she finds out.
Right.
You know? Like,
That's
yeah.
a
So
yeah.
I feel like there's maybe some point where she has to find that out because how does
Mhm.
she know? Like the only person who knew is gone.
It's not like she
Unless
broadcast it. I agree.
unless Ellie ran to her like, oh my God, like Marlene, yo, Riley's gone, but
Mhm.
I got bit too. I should have been going too, maybe
I agree.
maybe something like that where she ran to or
Yeah.
found her somehow. Anyway, so we know how that goes down. It's a very sad moment. Now the option 3, I guess, is what she took, which was them just kind of sitting together, crying. Just gonna cry it
Yeah.
out and we'll deal with it. And then we get back to present day. So what's happening in present day?
Just cut.
We
Right.
got it's like, hey, we out. Again, like they do a good job of as much gut-wrenching stuff
Mhm.
happens in this show. The really, really sad stuff, they don't put it on camera. I
No.
will say that. There's no moment where like a key character is just like that you care about dies on screen. You know what I mean? It's like
True.
cutaway.
No.
It's like a cutaway. It's never like oh, let's watch them just get blasted. So
Right.
it's
They leave it to your interpretation, which
yeah,
is
you
really
leave it to
interesting.
you. So
Mhm.
I appreciate that. Then we
Yeah.
get to the current day, and I think that's when because at least last thing I remember is her touching the doorknob, and then maybe she starts remembering all this, and then she's like, "All right, I'm gonna make this happen." So to me,
Mhm.
I was wondering if this was the case. Was Ellie about to just run off on Joel, and then thought like, "Nah, I can't do that."
Exactly my interpretation. Because it's like just keep going. Was it north or east or I forgot at this point? West?
I forget.
The goal.
Yeah,
Me too. I ain't go front. Keep going west. Leave me. Forget about me. You're more important. And she was going to do it, and it's like a realization. She's about to touch this door handle. Wait a minute. I've been worse. Fudge that. I'm patching this dude up, and that's all we got for this episode.
so we got. So, what did you think of this episode?
Oh, Clicker was. Now we have more about. It's pretty much more the Ellie show, which is good. I gave it 4 clicks.
All right, that's pretty good. I'd also say 4, maybe 4.25. I really like the episode. I like the
It was
flashbacks.
informative. Yep.
I really like the flashbacks that give you a lot of information. So I will say, as great as the was it Bill and oh boy, dang, I can't remember. his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Let's just say Ted, Bill
The
and Ted.
lovers, Ted. Bill and Ted.
Um,
Yeah.
they had their excellent adventure. Now that was great, but I don't know if that episode really gave us nuggets that we could use in the rest of the series. You know what I mean?
It was passionate. I see where you're going with that. It was passionate, meaning the drama was involved, very dramatic.
Oh yeah.
But nothing beats the fighting of love and survival in any kind of arc. I think why I only give it 4.5. Okay, 4 and 4.5, 4.5 between the two of us was because this is Ellie. We expect her to be a badass, but it's the birth of her being a badass, which makes it interesting. Everybody loves a good flashback. So yeah, that's me. Yeah.
No, I can agree with that. So now we're on to episode 8, the penultimate, the next to last episode. And man, this one here was, you get, it's different types of feels in every episode for me. It's like, but yeah, you talk about like gut wrenching. One thing you kind of learn is, and much like Walking Dead, I think they did a good job of letting you know that it's not as easy as right and wrong. And I'll just kind of go with that. Like, it's never like, oh, I killed this guy because he's about to kill me. Like, that's what it is.
There's a buff gray area. I agree.
Like super gray. Every character is gray. And
Mhm.
when Joel killed one of theirs, you know, uh, you find out there's a story and that these people have a family. You know what I mean? And they're
Mhm.
supposedly at the very beginning, old David is, a good old preacher man. So I'm feeling like, oh, okay. I mean, they're trying, you know what I mean? And
I love how
then
they real quick. I love how they paint this false picture, which is really good directing of heretic motherfucker at that.
yeah.
That's all. I'm just gonna say that. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So David is in the woods with his right hand man. Great cameo that is Troy Baker,
Mhm.
who plays James, who is the
I was
voice.
saying the voice, right?
He's literally
Okay,
the voice of video games. Troy Baker.
hilarious.
Once I heard his
Mhm.
voice, I was like, wait a minute. Yep.
I closed my eyes too. I follow voice actors. I was like, I know this voice. I
Yeah.
thought I had to cheat code it. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So turns out they're both trying to eat. So they're chasing the same deer, Ellie and them. She kills, I guess, well, she initiates the kill. And then eventually she tracks the deer to where it falls. And
Mhm.
so they try to make a deal. Again, David seems like a very good guy. It's just like, hey man, drop the gun, like it's gonna be okay. Like we're
Dude,
gonna,
he played me like a cheap fiddle. I'm like, dude, Ellie,
and I was
you can drop
believing it.
your guard.
I
Right,
was believing it.
right.
Yeah, like I might have dropped my guard. I mean, like, he's a good guy. It sounded very believable. He was a religious man, used to be a
Mhm.
non-believer. He fled the scene, got a bunch of survivors together, and they're, relying on religion to kind of
Mhm.
keep going. And um David says something about no, Ellie was like it's weird cult stuff or whatever like that. And when they
I
get
love this
together
scene.
and says pretty standard Bible stuff, which is maybe, but
Mhm.
y'all on some, I don't know. Then we get to the part where they talk about the venison. And was that a moment where the dude came in and was like, it's
Wait,
venison?
may I? Because I love this moment. So he was like, "Oh yeah, we all each have a past." Now, mind you, Ellie's holding onto the shotgun. How I'm sitting right now. Uh
Hmm.
huh. Mind you, that thing is pretty damn heavy, but she's holding that mug.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, it's okay. As long as you feel secure." He went to go save his boy to go get some penicillin
Hmm?
because somebody's hurt. He was fishing. He's like, there's this story going around about this crazy guy who shot somebody in my camp, but walking around with a girl.
Mm.
And you seen Pulp Fiction. And so he was like this, yep, some girl supposedly who killed one of our own. And then Ellie was like this, she was like, oh snap, he does know. And then in Pulp Fiction, what this reminds me of, remember that scene where Samuel Jackson was like, Vincent, I'm looking at the camera as peripheral. Vincent put down the gun, and Ellie turned around, and she was completely already outflanked. That was
Oh,
great writing.
yeah, that was good. That's really good. He's like, uh-oh, they on to me. And
Yeah.
it's going down. So again, it's looking at the other side of things and that gray area being like, well, dang, like you took a man from his family,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're like, get revenge on him. Like you gotta go get him, And then when they're talking to, I don't know, the whole God's will and all that stuff, and it's like the religion, that's where to me it starts to fall a little bit, not making sense all the way. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's like,
when you're a heretic, that's just your vision. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
using
I
that
heard
as an excuse.
somebody,
But
I
anyway,
had somebody say there's actually a movie out about a cult that's here in Arizona, this church that's been built, and people have been looking at this church. God, I forget what it's called, but there's a documentary on HBO about the church. It's this
oh
Mexican
snap,
church, and
yeah,
and one thing they say is, a cult is only a religion where the leader is still alive. And I
that's
was like,
deep.
damn,
That's deep. That's deep, bro. That's deep.
it's deep.
That's
So,
very deep. But
yeah,
yeah.
think about it. Because if the
Mm-hmm.
person's still alive, you're following them. You're following a human being like kind of blindly, which then makes it a cult. So, anyhow, um, things are. This is all right. So Joel is trying to recover, I guess, and at this point, I think just
Mind
fast
you, she
forward.
ran off already. She already got the penicillin and
She
right.
ran off, and she's like, "Yo, they're coming. Like, you got to get up. Something's gonna happen. I don't know." And
Wait, foreshadowing. That was their mistake, letting her go. But go ahead.
Yeah. I kept thinking like this is where, to me, the David story. This is all my only issue with a lot of these. It's like the one-off character arc being 45 minutes, an hour long. It's like it happens too fast. Like, yo, David, you just met this girl. You know what I mean?
Wait. So, like, before you get a chance to hate this character, they killed him off. I see your point.
You just met this girl. No, not just that, but David's ready to throw it all away for this little girl.
You know what I'm saying? Mind you. Very creepily, mind you.
Yeah, super creepy. So, they imply over and over again that David's a weirdo, but like you don't really get it until he attempts to
force himself.
He makes he makes some moves, but even
or eat her first, which is worse.
Well, first he's like, "Yo, I need somebody on my team." So it's like, is that real, or is this just like Cap to try to get her guard down? He's like, me and you can rule this. Like, bro, you just met me. Like, what are you talking about?
I see what you're getting at. It's like a bad thirst trap. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, dude, I gotta have some of that again. Blah blah blah. We just went out for spaghetti. Right. You know, it's our Italian. You know, I agree.
We just met. Now it's me and you can rule these people. These people are sheep, and I need another shepherd. And it's like, what? But again, maybe that's a callback. Now that I'm hearing about both episodes back to back, remember when she's in the QZ and she gets in trouble, what the dude tells her, yo, we need leaders. Like, yo,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. Like, I think it's maybe a callback to that, like people seeing in her that she's a leader.
In fact, I dare say this is a setup for season 2. If it's game 2, I don't know how they're going to extend the story, because she becomes more foreshadowing if I can play the game, guys. You know, Joel eventually he's gone, and she takes up like pretty much the mantle of being the primary protagonist of the series because of her own leadership and skill. You know, maybe it's foreshadowing towards that. But anyway,
okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
So Joel holds it down, as we know he will. You know, and he makes it happen. Let's talk about the vicious murdering.
Please,
yo. All right, I feel like I've been talking a lot. See, Jack, you can get into that.
Right. Okay, so to me, with that, thank you, by the way. No, not like that, but to me, okay, this man is dangerous. You seen again my nerdy references. You seen Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
Remember when Rorschach got caught up? He was like, "You guys are mistaken. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me." That was the vibe I got because, okay, Joel's, he just barely got the shot. He barely got himself sewed up. Yeah. One wrong elbow or a jab is going to reopen that wound. That's what I'm fearing.
Yeah.
No. So the dude came downstairs. He was smarter than I thought. He picked up on, why is the shelf in front of the door? So he went down there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, Joel's on the move, but can he do anything? Bruh, out of the shadows, he took some Bruce Wayne lessons. Just let it happen. It just took out the first dude while he was looking at him gushing.
Ugh. This was like some Batman style. Systematic destruction.
Right. There's two things for both audience. There's two things here. He was hurt and he's middle-aged. Just keep that in mind. So the crew finally, he hunts them down one by one, butts them, interrogates them, Joe style. You want me to get this? Or
you got it.
Okay, I love this scene. So I made sure I wrote this down. So the first dude's closer to him taped up. You guys seeing what's going on? You should have by now. So he was like, your boy's gonna point where the location where this girl is, because he's livid because this girl kept him alive. That's fire at this point. He's motivated.
Yeah.
He's like, where is she? Okay, I'm gonna ask your boy. They better be the same location. You know what? On second thought, and then he started with the kneecap. First of all, I have no idea how that feels. I don't want to know. And so he starts with the kneecap twist, and then he finally stabs him. And old boy's like, "What the fuck, man? He told you. I ain't telling you shit now." He's like, "That's okay. I believe him." Wait, no. I was like, damn. Bro.
Oh, it's so vicious. Like we said, the gray area. It's like, yo, it's
Mhm.
about survival at this point, and you have something that is important to me, so you gotta go. Ain't no negotiating with terrorists at this point. So I believe him. Now you did.
Boy, his opinion was not even relevant. I'm like, damn.
That is, ooh,
Mind you, he's a good guy.
yeah. Like torturing people to get information is like a trope in
Mhm.
action movies for sure.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever seen it in this way, where it's like, oh yeah, I believe him. You did too. Oh man, goodness gracious. So all right, so we end with, I think the worst of it all is is when we see what Ellie's going through, and she sees like body parts, and she's like, oh, I know what's going down over here in the steakhouse. The steakhouse. Yeah, I know what's going down over here. So it seems that not only do they feed these people, but
Ah, uh,
feed these people, double entendre. Um, feed but David also likes to, he might be a little bit of a kid diddler. On top of that, so
wait, you're an idiot. Oh, with love, you're an idiot. No, he David doesn't know what the fuck he wants, dude. That's the worst kind of villain, by the way.
so again, the ridiculous, I need you, we can rule this place, is weird to me.
There's a list. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Now it's like, oh nah, I ain't coming with you. I see y'all eat people, blah blah blah. It's like, all right, well,
that's also an option. If she says no,
I guess you get Nate too. That's what it is next. And it's just
the diddler. That's
man, oh man, we got a creep diddler who oh my god. There's so many quotes, but he said something about he starts going in on this monologue, which is like, oh, he dead. Because when he starts telling you the whole plot, it's like, all right, man. He's like praising the cordyceps. He's like, yo,
yes.
God, what is the quote? He said it secures its future with violence.
Right.
And I was like, I mean, yeah. So he's like, yo, I understand that, because that's kind of like the human way. That's our way right now. We're all trying to secure our future. And
even at these non-war times, we do that. May not be that extreme, but we do that. It's true.
Yep. So we get also like that. So she busts out. She breaks his finger.
Wait, he was like, join me, Ellie. Go ahead. And it looks like she was getting, Ellie, come on now. But you got to remember, she's a 16-year-old girl. But even I underestimated her. He put his hand on that cage. She's like, oh, I understand you completely. It makes sense for the first time. You are completely out of your mind. And just, yep.
Yeah.
Good for her, by the way.
Woo. Yep. Next thing you know, she gets out there some running. She picks up like an ember from the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's a good weapon. The whole time I'm just like on the edge of my seat. So I'm like, yeah, this is a great, yeah, that's a good idea. And then she throws it at him and missed. And I was like, oh no, you gave up your one chance. Like I thought she was gonna hold it and just like,
shish kebab, like right, Sizzler, right.
But she threw it and missed. I was like, oh man. And then what do you know? It sends the whole place up, and then David at this point still not trying to save him. So this guy is so sick. That's why I felt like the fast forwarding of it all is
mind you, he may think he's contaminated, mind you.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. So he probably thinks, because she did tell him that maybe he's gonna go anyway. So I might as well get some kitty meat on the way out. And
no, but guys, we're not being funny. This is how. There's no other interpretation. Right.
This is very sick. Like self-preservation is out the window. So you got to suffer too, I guess. I'm just trying to understand.
Go out with a bang.
The mentality, yeah. The mentality here. Yeah. It's like, if you think you're gonna die, I mean, you want this person to pay for it. Obviously, if they bit you, and yes, you.
I can see that.
That's fair. But you want them to pay, so you want to kill them. But you don't necessarily want to,
Right.
But yet, he says the fighting is the best part, or something like that, when he's on top of her. And I was like,
I wanted to fucking soccer kick his head.
Yeah, he gotta go. I was like, he gotta go. I was hoping like a wooden, a fiery piece of wood would just fall down at that moment and just like.
Or Joel. I was waiting for Joel the whole time.
Or Joel
right,
would show up,
right.
chop his head off or something crazy. But nah, it's
The Ellie show.
The Ellie show. She held it down. She brutally murders old boy.
I lost count how many times she stabbed him once she had a chance to stab him. Once she got him off her.
Oh, so many.
And that fire. Now understood from an artist director point of view. Granted, it set the whole room, something out of Batman, the animated series, old school, right? That set the stage. And the fire, if you looked at her when she was stabbing him, was just a manifestation of her rage. This girl has so much rage.
So much rage. And I felt it, man. I felt it. Every stab I felt. And man, it's just like, this was an ending where I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
I had no pity for the dude at all.
Yeah, right. I feel like this is like the best ending maybe of every episode, where you get Joel, you get an embrace, you get, traumatized Ellie, you get him saying like, it's okay, I got you,
baby girl,
which was big. That was big. I was like, oh, the feels, man.
Yeah. So and he was like, I'm right here. She was like, no, get off me. She's like, oh my God, Dad, it's you. And then she came down again, which is so poetic.
Yeah. Oh man, that was beautiful. I feel like you could have ended the season like that. You know what I mean? Like
I would have been satisfied.
I'd have been totally satisfied ending the season right there. Right. All right. Absolute satisfaction. But we have more. So what do you rate this episode?
Oh, easily 5 clickers. It's an equal to me. It's an equal par. It's the equal par with episode 3. Equal par.
I agree. Every time I think something's the best. My only complaint, I just feel like the move of David from, religious hero to super sicko was 0 to 60. Like to me, if he had more time, if this was a longer season, I feel like maybe we'd have got a little more explanation of his weirdness. But
yeah, but it's like, I know these people. I get. It took me a minute to think about what you said in our last session of this, and I came up with an answer. They have to move at the pace of the speed of the game, meaning what we're watching right now, because they just can't keep coming back. I understand that. But at least turn it into 1 or 2 part episodes. I would have been cool with that. They leave it with the cliffhangers anyway. Like with what's her name? She just got it so bad in the last episode with the bloater. With her, that could have been the 2-parter villain episode. And David could have been a 2-parter. What you're asking for is more substance from the antagonist. Antagonist, yeah. That's just me.
Yeah, I have overall, this is a spectacular episode, and it's just me being like, all right, it can't be totally perfect. I got to find something, but overall, I absolutely loved it. So it was phenomenal. Also give it
where's your rating? Yeah.
Oh, I get all the it is clicking all day. This episode was clicktastic. I loved it. I absolutely did.
The only regret I have is the one that you have. And I'm not just co-signing. They killing off these villains, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? That makes a good hero. They come back, curses. And then they walked off into the sunset. There was no gut punch this time.
Yeah. So I've heard a couple people be like, all right, the show is good, but I've had a couple, I jotted down a couple of like complaints that people have had. One, Joel coming back pretty quickly. What do you think about that?
Considering the time, I see,
and then being strong enough to kill dudes with a knife. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you maybe can pull a trigger, but like stabbing takes strength, and
Well, it depends. It takes that, and depends where. Dog, if you get somebody with a butcher knife just right in the jugular, I assure you, it doesn't take much. Not from experience. I'm just saying. But and then number 2, and you know this, the fuel. I like to call it the fuel fire of a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd be surprised, man. I mean, he considers that his daughter now. What people have done.
Yeah. That's a good point. Huh. I can't argue with that.
See?
All right. There's always a few scenes where somebody's always like, oh. I also heard somebody say, well, luckily Joel wasn't allergic to penicillin.
You know what? I'm using that. You know what? I was allergic. I was. And you get over it through time. I just got over it. You get over it through time, but no, I got nothing. Because she was like, she's like, Joel, how do I use this? And she's so brutal. Joel, you know what? Fuck it. And just popped it in. What if you put it in the leg or the thigh, like somebody with diabetes? You don't just put it in the wound. I was like, damn, chick.
So I've had one other person say that, why would a town full of people not be alarmed when their freaking mess hall goes up in flames? Where was everybody?
I can't argue with that. That's a damn good question. It was too easy. Remember, they have to rush these episodes. Why, I don't know. Thus, why they should make these particular episodes 2-parters. I would have been okay with that.
Like you walk out and then it's like, oh, there's people there with guns, and now me and Joel gotta go hide or duck there. I don't know. Like the whole them standing out there embracing in front of a burning mess hall in a town populated with people is a little you're trying to suspend the disbelief. But where is everybody?
There's at least 50 people I counted in the opening scene in that camp feasting on others. Okay, you know, and that fire you must be shining the bat signal. You know,
it just burnt the place where they go and eat every day. It's on fire. The place where they learn about God every single day is on fire, and don't nobody know. Nobody.
I would have been cool. Co-sign with you. I would have been cool if they were standing out there. Oh my God, what's going on? And Joel and them walking away. You know, you see those 80s movies and the crowd are like, give him some air. You know, they just leave it at the end of the day. I would have been cool with that. But come on, man. I mean, I'll co-sign with you on that one. I got no excuse for that one.
That was my, that's my main thing. I did think, Joel kind of recovered a little quickly, but
I also agree with that too.
All right, that was a little believable. But the whole place being on fire, like that part, and it wasn't super necessary to the plot to burn the place down. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like to me, because they still wound up getting out and being safe. But maybe that's more symbolic than anything.
Exactly. On an artist standpoint, it makes sense for her rage. But on a realistic standpoint, I'm with you. Like, where is everybody? Did everybody take off for spring break, or at the time was yesterday the last day? I guess nobody's here. And I'll support your theory. Nobody stopped Joel. Remember, Joel took out those guys when they were looking for him back where he was injured. When he infiltrated town, you've seen Walking Dead. It's hard to infiltrate a town when it's secure like that. So that's another question.
Yeah, I was just like, where they at? But anyway, and you had to know that most post-apocalyptic stories will somehow get to cannibalism. It just kind of happens.
I accept that,
unfortunately. So I was expecting that to get there.
You're like, there it is.
And there it is. So we checked that box. But speaking of checking boxes, we have one more episode. There is the finale. There's also going to be some bonus stuff happening. I think there's another episode, but I think it's just kind of the making of. So we don't have to review that one. But if y'all want us to, leave us a comment, please. And let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know what you thought of old David and his ways.
That's right.
So we'll be back with another episode. And as always, my name is Mega Ran. That's Cjack. Cjack, you got anything you want to promote this week?
No, pretty much just check out the whole playlist on my channel of all the parts of The Last of Us HBO. Nope, that's pretty much it. Share, comment, subscribe.
Hey, do all that. Let a friend know that we're here and we're chatting about Walking Dead, The Last of Us, not Walking Dead.
Sorry, but you can see why you did that.
We got to edit that out. I'm just yes, and I got a new project coming out soon, so you can go ahead and pre-order that. It is going to be a link below. And we will see you next week as we delve into the finale this season. Will it be over under? Do you think next season comes in 2 years or more?
Oh, good question. I want to say yes, 2 year mark. Well, it won't take as long because COVID, because it was filmed at the tail end of COVID. You saw a lot of mass in production in this,
Yeah.
But HBO, if they keep it simple at 9 episodes or maybe even 10, I can see that being next year if they're not already starting already. I haven't seen any official. Hey, good news! There's a new season of The Last of Us already being produced. I'm already skipping ahead to the PP on the Mandalorian right now, so I ain't gonna front.
We got plenty of Pedro to hold us over, so it's all good.
Right. Yeah.
All right, y'all. We will see you next time. Tune in right here for more
Peace.
Last of Us. Peace.